Imagine you're part of a military force outflanked by the enemy on a tropical island. You have to rendezvous with another group of soldiers on the other side of the island, but the only way to do so is to traverse through a thick swamp filled with deadly crocodiles. If you don't attempt the crossing, you must face the enemy troops closing in on you. If you do attempt it, you face the crocodiles. Do you risk your life in the swamp or put your life in the hands of the enemy? This very situation happened to Japanese troops occupying Ramrey Island in the Bay of Bengal during World War II in early 1945. Those who survived the battle reportedly didn't fare well when they chose the doomed escape route across the crocodile-infested waters. Throughout the history of time, man has committed some of the worst atrocities against himself. On this day, however, nature had its turn. At the time, British forces needed an airbase in the area of Ramrey Island in order to launch more attacks against the Japanese. However, thousands of enemy troops held the island, causing an exhausting battle that went on for 6 weeks. Two sides were stuck in a standoff until the British Royal Marines, along with the 36th Indian Infantry Brigade, outflanked a Japanese position. The maneuver split the enemy group in two and isolated about 1,000 Japanese soldiers. The British then sent word that the smaller isolated Japanese group should surrender. The unit was trapped and had no way to reach the safety of the larger battalion, but rather than accept surrender, the Japanese chose to make an 8-mile journey through a mangrove swamp. And that's when things went from bad to worse, and the Ramrey Island massacre began. The mangrove swamp was thick with mud, and it was slow going. British troops monitored the situation from afar at the edge of the swamp. The British didn't pursue the fleeing troops closely because the Allies knew what they were up against. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest reptiles in the world. Typical male specimens reach 17 feet long and over 1,000 pounds, and the largest can reach 23 feet long and over 2,200 pounds. Swamps are their natural habitat, and humans are no match for their speed, size, agility, and raw power. The Japanese understood that saltwater crocodiles have a reputation for eating humans, but they went into the mangrove swamp of Ramrey Island anyway, and in an incident not unlike the infamous USS Indianapolis shark attack that befell American troops later that year, many of these troops didn't survive. Soon after entering the slimy mud hole, Japanese soldiers began to succumb to disease, dehydration, and starvation. Mosquitoes, spiders, poisonous snakes, and scorpions hid in the thick forest and picked off soldiers one by one. The crocodiles appeared later as they got deeper into the mangrove. Several British soldiers said that the crocodile preyed on the Japanese soldiers in the swamp. The most prominent first-hand retelling of what happened comes from naturalist Bruce Stanley Wright, who participated in the Battle of Ramrey Island and gave this written account. That night was the most horrible that any member of the ML crew ever experienced. The crocodiles, alerted by the din of warfare and smell of blood, gathered among the mangroves, lying with their eyes above the water, watchfully alert for their next meal. With the ebb of the tide, the crocodiles moved in on the dead, the wounded, and uninjured men who had become mired in the mud. The scattered rifle shots in the pitch-black swamp, punctured by the screams of wounded men crushed in the jaws of huge reptiles, and the blurred worrying sounds of spinning crocodiles made a cacophony of hell that has rarely been duplicated on Earth. At dawn, the vultures arrived to clean up what the crocodiles had left. Of the 1,000 troops who entered the swamp on Ramrey Island, only a reported 480 survived. The Guinness Book of World Records listed the Ramrey Island massacre as the largest crocodile attack in history. However, death toll estimates vary. What the British do know for sure is that 20 men came out of the swamp alive and were captured. These Japanese troops told their captors about the crocodiles, but exactly how many men died in the maws of the mighty crocodiles remains up for debate because no one knows how many troops succumbed to disease, dehydration, or starvation as opposed to predation. In closing, when given the choice of surrendering or taking your chances in crocodile-infested waters, what would you do? Please like, share, and subscribe to Where in the World is Frank and Gina. Rest in peace to all the victims. God bless.